Hi guys, my name is Tom from Leaware. I'm today with
Magda. Hi everyone.
Magda. Magda is our project manager, product owner in Agile projects. And we will talk today about project management.
Mostly, yes.
Mostly, okay, so let's start. The question number one. Magda, you work a lot for a long time in Leaware, and you have very good experience, expertise in project management. So, what is the most important from your experience for our clients during software development?
Okay, so from my experience, one of the most important part for the clients, as I learned through the whole process, is that project manager has to keep up with the budget. So the client needs to be 100% sure that we're doing the work we said we would do in a right budget, in a right timetable. So as a manager, I need to keep on tracking all the work that has been done by our developers, by our testers, analytics, so that everything at the end would sum up to everything that we have agreed on at the beginning. And that's one thing that is really crucial. The other one is, I would say that I need to take care that whatever we produce is what the client wanted. So we need to make software as it meets the client's criteria, business criteria.
Okay.
So I would
business criteria. So not only the technical stuff, features, but also it must be linked with business criteria.
Yes, exactly.
Business vision.
Yes, with the
business
problem
goals.
that client came to Leaware. So we need to solve the software that way that it would help the client to solve their problem. Yeah. So I would highlight the last part very much.
Okay. So budget. This what we deliver.
Yes.
And time.
And time, exactly.
Yeah.
And also quality.
Quality.
So we need to deliver good quality products so that it would be stable, it would be useful, and it would be a pleasure to use it, simply. Yeah.
And solve the problem. Okay, thank you very much. So now the second question. Magda, I know that software development is not only that client come to us and give us some description of the problem, this is what we are going to solve, and then disappear, and after 3 months of development we deliver something great. But this is like a dance. Yeah, we need 2 persons to do it good. And I read last time very good book, The Pumpkin Plan, from Mike Michalowicz, where he writes that any activities should be done in this way that we have like pumpkins, and some of them are growing and are big, some of them will never grow, and this is the same with clients. You know? So with some clients we can build great things, with others we just can't, because there is too many differences between our approach, client approach. Yeah, and if you could tell us from your experience, who is the ideal client for us? Yeah, how it should be set when the project is something where we can really involve and enjoy from the journey.
Okay, so I guess that I would point out a very important part, which is communication, because we need to constantly talk about what we are doing, what we will do, and what we have done. So we need to be on the same page with the client all the time. So a constant communication is, for me, like the most important thing.
Most important thing.
Yeah. So if you want to build a good software, you need to talk about it, because sometimes people communicate, but they don't understand each other. So we can talk, but sometimes we don't communicate. So I think that what describes a good client is that we communicate, so we understand what we need. So I'm talking to a client and he gives me feedback that I understand.
Okay.
So this is very important.
Good.
Yeah. And
something more?
Something more. So if we're talking, that means that the client has to be responsive. Because sometimes the job is scheduled and we meet some problems and we are left alone with the problems. And the only way to solve the issue is to talk with the client. So he has to be responsive. So this, as you mentioned, has to be like a constant dance. So we need both parties to take care of the product so that at the end it would be what we agreed on.
Great. Okay, thank you. Okay, so the next and the last question for today is about documentation specification. Yeah, now we are in the agile time, and there is some, let's say, lot of voices that the teams should be so agile that they don't need documentation anymore. Yeah, and that we just need developers, we just need to set up the scope, start developing, and then at the end, after several sprints, we will deliver a great product and it will work for a long time and there will be no any issues, problems. This is contradiction to waterfall approach, where before the project the team, or maybe not even the team, but analysts, architects had to prepare the big, Bible of specification documentation. Yeah, and where is that true? Is it like that we don't need documentation anymore, or we need Bibles of documentation in the current time in the projects which you are involved today?
Okay, so what I believe is that we should take some of the advantages of both approach. In my experience, I had some troubles during managing projects where the documentation wasn't always fully completed. And at the end of the project, sometimes we got a hiccup because of it. We need to remember that the project is a dynamic thing. So not only people can change during the whole process, but but as well as the functionalities.
Requirements.
Yes, exactly. So I truly believe that we need to keep it minimal, not to build it into a large Bible. However, documentation is, for me, it's necessary, and I also believe that the developers also feel comfortable while doing something, and they know what to do and where they are going.
And when they are in the moment that they deliver this what client was expecting.
Yeah, so they know that the work that they have done is exactly what's needed to be done.
Okay.
So they have this comfort of working on something and knowing where they're going.
Okay, and if you could suggest to the people who are watching this movie, what kind of approaches are, let's say, working, yeah, in your projects, yeah? What methodologies?
We have recently started to build the documentation upon the BDD approach. Yeah.
BDD is behavior-driven development. Okay.
Yeah, so the feature files that we're creating upon the documentation we're building is a good enough documentation because it's understandable for all the parties. It's understandable for the clients because it's written in a plain text in not so much of a technical language, rather of a language that is understandable by everyone. So it's easy to understand it for the client, for the developers, for the testers.
So we can say that for all stakeholders,
yes.
It is written in English, so it's easy to read. And this is some kind of ubiquitous language, so it is also something what makes communication easier. Yeah,
exactly.
Because as we know, and we saw it many times, is that if we use, let's say, the approach where documentation is clear for developers but is not clear for the client, then some tensions will appear in some moment.
Eventually, yes, I think.
Because the communication will not be so good at it could be.
But yes, I think that the biggest advantage is that we can all understand it the same way. So it doesn't leave open gates. So if we agreed upon everything that is written in a feature file, we all know what we have to produce. So if we read a diagram, I think that it leaves us some gates, some parts where...
Some gaps.
Yes, exactly, some gaps that it may result in missing functionalities or just misunderstanding between clients and software houses. Because we need to remember that clients are usually not technical people. So
that's true.
So it's, for me, it's very easy, and it's just simple, and it makes it a little bit easier for everyone.
And
just
it's easy to maintain it in long term. Yeah.
Exactly.
So if we finish version number 1.0 and then we have to work on version 2.0, then documentation, in this case in BDD approach, we can easily follow the code and vice versa. Yeah, and it's also easy for developers. If they deliver some feature, they can easily check it. If this what they delivered is this what is written in feature files. It's the same for testers. It is also easy to validate by the client, and everyone is working on the same in the same way. Yeah, so the amount of gaps is lower.
Yes, I agree with it.
Good. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.